What's up with it? We back at you with an episode of WopSPN, the Sports News Administration. You understand me? All coming from the umbrella. Shout out to the player posse. Shout out to the player party. It was very player of you to watch this video. You know what I'm saying? Do a player a favor and hit the like, subscribe, and comment down below. You know what I'm saying? It'd be very player of you to do one, two, or all three of them things. You know what I'm talking about? But hey man, let's get straight to it. You know what I'm saying? We had the first play-in games tonight in the WNBA. My bad. In the NBA. You know what I'm saying? We had the Hawks. Like my nigga Shaq like to say, even though that is not the sound of a hawk, my brother. But the Hawks had a tough game today. They couldn't do it against Paolo Banchero and you know what I'm saying, them good Magic. Shout out to Cole Anthony, my fault. Cole Anthony was doing this thing, putting up bucks. You could tell the ball was just, you feel me, him and the ball was having some type of relationship going on, pause, because that motherfucker was just, you know what I mean, watery. You know, the Magic was at home. They did their thing. They took care of home field advantage, home court advantage. You know what I'm saying? They will be the 7th seed going up against the number 2 seed Boston Celtics. I do expect them to get bounced out. But hey, you know, they did their thing, held their own, won their elimination game to stay out of the play-in and to lock down that number 7 seed, another playoff berth. You know, shout out to KCP, you know, 2-time NBA champion on the Orlando Magic, you know what I'm saying? So they did their thing today. Trae Young, it was a tough loss, you know what I'm saying? I seen you was frustrated at the end, you know what I'm saying, with the whole little ball and the ref thing, you know. They gonna overhype it and do too much, but hey man, when you out there putting your heart, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into something, man, you know, frustration might set in, and that's all that was, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, you feel me? So I don't want to see people in the comments like, oh, Trae Young's being immature, or he's, man, shut up, man. You know what I'm saying? Let the young man do his thing, man. He out there balling, giving it his all. He wants to win. You know what I'm saying? That's all that was. And you know, shout out to Trae Young. Shout out to the A. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to A-Town. Used to stay in Decatur, Buttercrest Road. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my cousin. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna talk too much about it, but shout out to Decatur Boxing. You know what I'm saying? Xavier Biggs, my old trainer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But you know, this is WopSPN, so we are gonna do sports coverage. You know, but you know me, I'm a Warriors fan, and we played tonight. Yeah, I'm talking about, and we did our thing against the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out to John Morant with the new celebration, because they hating on the gun celebration. They, you know, they pick and choose and do what they want to do, man. Let these people do what they want to do, bro. Y'all gotta stop trying to make everybody a role model for your kids, man. You be a role model for your kids, man. Stop telling me kids is watching the show. We don't care. It doesn't matter if kids are watching. You should be monitoring. Okay, you should be teaching them right from wrong. They should be able to see that and discern that they shouldn't be playing with guns. You know what I'm saying? Teach your kids gun safety. You know what I'm saying? Teach your kids the pros and cons of weapons. You know what I'm saying? And teach them what to and what not to do. Stop looking at other people to be raising your kids and letting other people determine what type of kid your kid is going to be. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop putting the blame on other people and start taking accountability for ourselves. But this is a sports episode, WopSPN. My friend, back at it again. Yaraduki. Hey, look, man. Shout out to the Bay. You know what I'm saying? You seen my boy Shaq and MTNT. He was going dummy, so you got to get hyphy, Ernie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. They know what it is when they come to the Bay. You know what I'm saying? Too Short playing. Shout out to Too Short Dog. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. It was a beautiful game. Like, we was crushing them in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And then they came back, did their thing a little bit. They had a little, you know, a little comeback, a little run that brought it to, you know, a nail-biting finish that we ended up, you know, doing our thing with. Shout out to Jimmy Butler, you know, Himmy Butler, Mr. Himothy. We know about playoff Jimmy. We just saw play-in Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Held it down so we can get the number 7 seed. You know what I'm saying? Solidify ourselves in the playoffs so we don't have to play another grinder of a game, another playing game to get in to then play the number 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? We're going to play the number 2 seed. Shout out to Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka is showing why he is an elite coach. Okay? He got the Celtics to where they were. building the roster, building the chemistry, building the culture. You know what I'm saying? And now look how they're thriving. He took the Rockets, who are probably the worst team, top 5 worst teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? Definitely top 2 worst teams in the West. Now they're number 2 in the West. And the West is the toughest. Come on, bro. We know the conference. We know what it is year in, year out. The West is just the toughest. It's tough to get wins in the West, and it's tough to be ranked in the West. You've seen the 3-4 way tie we had for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. You know what I'm saying? So it get real tight, get real greasy in there. You know what I'm saying? To come down to the nitty gritty. And Ime Udoka, shout out to him. He got the Rockets looking real good, looking really elite. You know what I'm saying? Doing their thing. They on their way up. They on the up and up. They're number 2. You know what I'm saying? They're a force to be reckoned with. But I don't know if they can hang with us. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors, we got too much experience. We've been doing this for a minute. You know, we know what it takes. We got a higher pedigree of players, a higher caliber of players on the team, on the roster that are going to help carry us over the top, that are going to help us not make those bad mistakes, you know, that are going to make the best decisions possible, you know what I'm saying, that are going to know when and when not. So I just think we got a 7-game series versus the Rockets. It might go 5 or 6, you know what I'm saying. I don't think we're going to sweep them at all. And I'm not saying they don't have a chance, but from what I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying, we're going to second round. We're probably going to play the Lakers, depending on if the Lakers can get past Anthony Edwards and them, because Anthony Edwards ain't no slouch. The Timberwolves do have defense, and so with that being said, I do believe they have a shot to beat the Lakers, just because, you know, the new chemistry of the team, the new coach. They do have high caliber players. They do have experience. They do have a good pedigree. I just don't believe that their coach is seasoned enough. You know, but hey, we'll see. They're a great organization. They know what to do. They've been here before. They're top 2 all time. So, you know, it is what it is. You can't say too much about that. But what I can say, Jimmy Butler, you know, since Jimmy Butler has been with us, the games that he's played were 23-7. Tonight makes it 24-7. You know what I'm saying? So out of the 31 games, we won 24 of them, lost 7 with him playing. You know, and you know, shout out to Jimmy Butler again. I misspoke when we made the trade. I wasn't even mad that we got you. I was mad that what we lost, but we gained so much in gaining you that it's all right that we lost what we lost. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't get a big man, but for whatever reason, we still love playing small ball. So that's just what we're gonna have to end up rocking with. No hate, no shade. Jimmy Butler had 38. Steph Curry had 37. You know what I'm saying? They combined for a total of 60. Then that's 75 points together. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be tough if you let them two score 70 plus points together. You know, and then let the others do what they're supposed to do to get the dub. We played a lot of great and solid defense. You know what I'm saying? We were in the passing lanes. We were getting a lot of blocks. We were stopping transition. We were getting out in transition. You know, and the rest was doing everything they could towards the end to just make it more of a closer game, to give the Memphis Grizzlies a chance to get us out of there. I don't know what the refs got going on. They was hating on Draymond Green on a foul where he should have got it cleared. It was just a lot going on. Perjinsky got a great clean block that they called a foul. Like it was just a lot going on, a lot of fuckery. But you know, shout out to the Warriors for pulling through, doing their thing. Shout out to the Bay. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Warriors for doing that for us. It's gonna be another great playoff series, a playoff run. You know, and the thing is, the way Jimmy Butler played with the Heat, you know, they played small ball. And he took them all the way to the finals. And granted, like I said, that was the East. And the West is always more difficult than the East. It's a lot harder. It's a gauntlet, you know. And in the East, it really doesn't get difficult until the Eastern Conference Finals. That's just in my opinion. You know, maybe the third round, if you want to take it there. But to me, the Eastern Conference Finals is the hardest games. I would say the third round. But in the West, every single series is a grinder. And when you're going through the play-in, you know, as a bottom seed, you don't want to play that many games. You do want to stay warm. You want to stay loose. But to play that many intense games, that's emotionally draining as well as physically. So you don't want to go into the playoffs having to battle against great teams, tough teams, teams of high caliber, and then having to deal with, you know, a limited amount of rest. And then also you're giving up film. You know, you're showing the other teams what you're going to do in crunch time, what you're going to do when it matters, who you're going to get the ball to. And, you know, I think having Jimmy Butler for us is great because, you know, when Steph Curry isn't on the court, we have another go-to guy. You know, a guy who can ball handle. He can come up the court with it. He can get into the paint. He can distribute. He can make a good read. You know what I'm saying? When Draymond Green's off the court, Jimmy Butler can be the Draymond Green player. So Jimmy Butler is going to wear many hats, and he's going to take over the role of other players when they're not in the game. And then he's going to fill whatever role we need while they are in the game. And that's what makes Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? He's versatile, and he's somebody who's going to be able to give us a different look when we need a different look. He's going to give us the look that we're going to need in these scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Where certain players can only give us a certain look, he can give us multiple. And you know, I'm glad he showed today that he could put them buckets up. You know, he can put the ball in the cup. You know what I mean? 38 points, that's not no slouch. And he did it against Memphis, who is a pretty solid defending team. You know what I'm saying? You know, Jaren Jackson Jr., he's been defensive player of the year before. You know what I'm saying? He's first team all defense. You know what I'm saying? He's an all-star. And, you know, they have other defenders on that team. They're going through it because their coaching situation has been shaky. They just fired their coach. So, you know, it wasn't as difficult as it could have been. But it doesn't matter. A game is a game and a win is a win. And we got the win when it mattered. So shout out to the Golden State Warriors for getting that dub, holding down the 7th seed. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Orlando Magic for going ahead and getting their dub and getting their 7th seed. Looks like we're going to see the Orlando Magic. We're going to see the Atlanta Hawks play. Who plays tomorrow? Let me go ahead and check and see. I hate doing this because you know what's going to happen? Y'all going to play them stupid crickets. I don't want to hear that. Let me see, bro. Let's see. Okay. So, it looks like the Celtics and Magic. Come on, man. Let me see the play-in, bro. They're not even showing me that they trying to play it, brother. How we gonna do it? How about we do it like this? So, Chicago and Miami play tomorrow. The winner of that game plays the Hawks. The loser of that game is bounced out of the play-in and it's over. You know what I'm saying? So, the winner of Miami and Chicago. Now, at the moment, I got Chicago because Miami doesn't have Jimmy Butler. But they do have a solid, well-rounded roster. So, they do actually have a chance. And Eric Spoelstra is a good coach. So, he can will them through that game. And if they end up playing the Hawks, he can will them through that game too. So Miami definitely has a chance to make the playoffs. I also believe Chicago has a chance to make the playoffs. The team that I don't think has a chance to make the playoffs is Atlanta. And I just don't see them having enough firepower. You know, because Trae Young started off slow and that's what got them in the hole. And then there was nobody else to pick up the slack. So with that being said, I don't see the Hawks really having a real chance at the playoffs. No disrespect. I just think Trae Young needs more help. They need to build better scoring around him. They can't just rely on him to be the only scorer. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's some injured players that I didn't see play, and you know what I'm saying? So who knows? But I just don't see Atlanta advancing to the playoffs. I think whoever wins the play-in game tomorrow between Chicago and Miami will be the team to take the eighth seed, and they will be playing Cleveland. With that being said, Cleveland is so hot. The only team I think out of those two teams that have a chance to beat Cleveland is Chicago. But with Cleveland being as dominant as they've been, you know, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, that's just going to be a tough duo to beat. Plus the two bigs, I personally think the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Cleveland and Boston. That's just my personal opinion. The New York Knicks, I just feel like they're gonna crumble. I don't think they have. I don't think they have enough. Even though, you know, I believe in Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns is a good player, but I just don't know if he can maintain what he needs to maintain throughout every series to get the dub. It's just something about the big games. It's something about, you know, when it matters that Karl Anthony Towns doesn't give the team what they need. He does solid, but he doesn't give the team what they need. So, not necessarily New York. I'm just saying in general, the teams that he's been on, the Timberwolves, it just hasn't panned out. And I think that's why he's the one who left the team, the franchise. And Indiana Pacers, I don't know. I think they're a sleeper. I think they're a team that can make some noise, but I just don't see them beating Boston. I don't see them beating Boston. I see them having a chance against Cleveland, but I don't see them beating Boston. And Cleveland is just, I personally think Cleveland's going to the finals this year. That's also with in mind that Jaylen Brown has been getting injections in his knee. He's been having some, I don't know if it's knee pain or knee swelling, but he's been getting shots in his knee. So with that being a concern, if they don't have Jaylen Brown at 100%, that gives everybody a chance to win. So whether he's playing and isn't 100%, or if he doesn't play, that is room for that's room for another team to sneak in. So the East is pretty much wide open with Jaylen Brown not being 100%. Now, if he gets 100%, Celtics going back, unless the Cavaliers can do something about it. You know, the playoffs is different. They've been here before. I'm not concerned about their record. They're only 3 games behind anyway, so you know, I don't really see too many people challenging them, except for people on the West. But then when we get to the West, tomorrow is Sacramento versus Dallas, and without Kyrie Irving, it's a toss-up because Dallas does have Anthony Davis back, but who knows for how long, because we know bro be getting injured. I don't know if he's 100% healthy, and I don't think they have any other effective players that can carry over. So Anthony Davis is going to have to beat the Pelicans' Anthony Davis, which is enough to win a play-in, but I don't think it's enough to win a 7-game series. So if they do advance, they're getting booted first round guaranteed, especially by the Thunder. But the winner of that game will be playing Memphis, and I don't see Dallas beating Memphis in a play-in game. But Sacramento is a interesting team. They don't have, what's my boy name? The guard. He was just there, stupid fast, De'Aaron Fox. They don't have De'Aaron Fox, but they do have my boy DeMar DeRozan, and he's a dog, and he is very talented, and they still have a very talented team. They don't have Mike Brown, so I don't know about their coaching. I mean, even though he wasn't there the whole year, so it's not like it was like mid-season, but you know, I believed in Mike Brown, and that's why they're playing in a play-in and not further up. And it does have something to do with De'Aaron Fox not being there, but they probably wouldn't have been in the mix even with De'Aaron Fox. I believe Mike Brown is the reason why they're not there, because Mike Brown isn't there, so they lost their ability to be a real threat in the West. So my pick to go into the playoffs with the 8th seed is the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think the Memphis Grizzlies will give OKC the toughest matchup. I don't think Sacramento or Dallas will give OKC a problem, so I would much rather see Memphis play. But Memphis will play the winner of Sac and Dallas tomorrow. And as far as who I think will win out of them 2 teams, that's tough to say, honestly. I'm just going to go Sac, just because Dallas got way too much going on with the trade, and it's just, you know, injuries. It's too much. I see Sac winning and being in the play-in versus Memphis, and then I see Memphis going ahead over Sac to win in the play-in, being the 8th seed. Now, Memphis versus OKC would be a good series to me personally, but I don't think Memphis has enough to beat OKC. But I think they'd be a better matchup than Sac and Dallas. That's just my personal opinion. So I'd much rather see Memphis. Warriors versus the Rockets, I think we're going to win that. Like I said, versus Ime Udoka, that's a great coach. He's played us before. He knows us well. He's ready for this. I think we got that. Lakers in Minnesota, I think that's a great matchup. Again, star-studded. It's going to be great. It's going to be, I don't think it's Lakers in 5 like Shannon Sharp be saying, but it'll go 6 or 7. And I'm rooting for Minnesota, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers did their thing, But the Minnesota Timberwolves do have defenders, so you just don't know. It all depends on what Luka comes up in the playoffs. LeBron's going to do his thing. I think AR-15 is going to do his thing. It just depends on what Luka they get to determine if they win. Then Denver and the Clippers. That's another great matchup. That's what I'm saying, man. The West is tough. The West is tough. It's really a toss-up. People don't know. But Denver and Clippers, when it comes to Denver and Clippers, I'm gonna say the Clippers because number one, they're hot right now. Number two, Kawhi's looking good. If Kawhi is healthy, I'm gonna go Clippers. Denver just lost their coach. I heard there's some discrepancies in the locker room, not just with players on the roster, staffing. So, when there's smoke, there's fire, and the fact that they having this small turmoil just makes me think they're not locked in. So Clippers have a good chance of closing that out. So if everything goes, I'm thinking it's going to be OKC, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors. So that means it'll be Warriors versus OKC, and then it'll be Clippers, Lakers. And in that next round. And as far as that goes, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I don't know, and I ain't no not a magician. What's that motherfucker? Fortune teller. You feel me? I don't know, but I can tell you what I think is gonna happen. And Denver and Clippers, that's tough to say. Lakers and Minnesota, y'all might think it's easy, but it's tough to say. I think Warriors gonna beat the Rockets, and I think OKC is gonna beat Memphis. That's just my personal opinion. In the East, I didn't really talk about it because it doesn't really matter to me, but it's going to be Cleveland, Boston. Who does New York play? Detroit. Good Lord. New York, that's a walkthrough. And then Milwaukee got Giannis, but they don't got Dame. And their team just hasn't been the same. And in a 7-game series, Giannis can take over, but he's a little older and he hasn't been playing with that same intensity. And I don't think he has that same drive that he had before he won a ring. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Indiana. It's going to be the top 4. Then it's going to be Indiana, Cleveland, New York, Boston. Man, that's man. The East ain't it, bro. East ain't it. It's all about the West. So we're going to be closely watching the West. Of course, we're going to closely watch the Warriors. That's my squad. Shout out to the Bay. And like I said, Denver and Clippers going to be a good series. Minnesota and Lakers going to be a good series to open up in the first round. So first round should be very interesting on the West. The East, we already know, is going to be sweeps and gentlemen sweeps up until the later rounds. So let's go ahead and stop playing like we don't already know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Third round is when it gets spicy, the conference finals. Second round, I guess it gets a little spicy, but it's really the third and final round before the championship. In the West, it's going to be spicy throughout. So, great matchups, great teams. Yeah, man, we definitely going to see. But tonight was all about Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. They did their thing, what they were supposed to do. And TNT, y'all are killing me with getting Kenny, Charles, Shaq, and Ernie out of there. I don't understand what y'all gonna do next. I don't know who you think's gonna tune in. I don't know. I don't know what y'all on. I don't know what y'all plan is. I don't get it, man. Y'all really bugging. That's the best sports show we got. Any platform, any combination of personalities. It's a shame. We're already losing ratings on the NBA. This is just gonna make it exponentially worse. But I'm not a professional. I'm not a. Y'all know what y'all doing. Obviously, y'all the businessmen. Y'all making the money. Whatever. So y'all got it. Y'all. We gonna see how it shake out. Shout out to Kenny, Charles, Shaq, and Ernie. You know what I'm saying? The best sports talk show I've seen. This the last rodeo. They're going to be there until the NBA finals, unless they end up covering the finals, but it's going to be over. This is it until the conference finals. So we going to enjoy y'all while y'all still got the air. You know, appreciate y'all. You know, don't even trip. Y'all can tune in to WopSPN, you know what I'm saying, with the players. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna carry the torch as best I can. I already know I ain't gonna be able to do what y'all do, but you know, I'm gonna do me, and that's all I can do. You know what I'm saying? It's been another episode of WopSPN. This is a quick coverage of the play-in tournament. We're gonna get playoff coverage. Don't worry about it. I do got some NFL updates that I ain't got to, but this is all about the NBA today, the games tonight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the players, man. You know what I'm saying? It was very player of you to stick around and watch this video. And do a player a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It'd be very player of you to do 1, 2, or all 3 of them things for me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the ladies if you're watching. You know, all my lady, my female sports enthusiasts. Yeah, I'm talking about. Holla at your boy, Big Wop. Do Wop the Don. And until next time, get in the gym. Get up. Get right. You did.